Hello, welcome to detailsin.com tutorial. In this tutorial I am going to teach you how to do pagination like Facebook. Instead of normal pagination, if we do have something like Facebook that looks nice in some other website. So let me show you how to do that in action. So for a sample, I have created a database called count. In that I created a table named numbers, and in that table I have just two columns. One is ID and the second one is value, which you can see in the screen right now. The ID holds an auto increment value and the value holds the actual numbers. This is for a sample, and you can apply this tutorial concept in your database to get the desired result. So here what I'm going to do is, in this table I'm holding 20 records. In this code I'm going to show you how to show that as 5 records in Facebook style pagination. This article was already written in detailsin.com, which you can see in the screen. So you can open detailsin.com, and in the top menu you can find a link called technology, where you can actually get into the PHP section, where you can find the exact link for this article where it was written, and the code also presented over there. Alright, so let's get into action now. So I'm going to do this in my local host. So first step, I need a folder in my htdocs folder. I have xampp installed, and in my htdocs I have created a folder called pagination, where actually I'm going to do this full program. So my editor is notepad++, where I am going to create a new file. So the first file I am going to create is configuration file, which actually connects with database for the records. So let me save it first. Save as. I'm going to say in my htdocs folder, inside pagination folder, where I'm actually going to do this operation. Save this file as config.php. Yes, so now I'm going to write this code here. The first step I'm going to do is make sure my connection works. I'm going to check it. So as usual, the same lines, my SQL underscore connect. So the first attribute is going to be the host name, which is local host for me, since I'm working in my local host, and then my username, which I'm going to use my root user, where there is no password for him. And I also make sure that in case if the connection fails, just die with the error message saying could not connect to my SQL. And then in the next line I'm going to say select the database in case if the connection success. My database name is, as I said earlier, it will be count. It is count. I'm also going to say in case if my database selection fails, just die with error message could not able to select database. Alright, I saved this file. Now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to name it index.php in the same folder. Alright, so this is the file where we are going to actually show the records. So let me create a basic HTML structure here. I'm not following all the standards which has to be. since it's just a tutorial. I hope you take the concept and proceed with yours. I have created the head and body tags. I'm going to keep a title for my page saying Facebook style pagination. That's enough for guys. And in my body tag, here is where I'm going to actually start the functionality part. So the first thing I'm going to do is, in pagination, what is the actual concept is, initially we have to show some records and then we have to give a button saying next, by which user can reach the next level record. So I'm going to show here the first 5 records. This is going to be my first action here. So obviously I'm going to include my config file, which actually holds the database connection. And then my next step is I'm going to query the records. So I'm going to say dollar records mysql underscore query select star from numbers limit 5. This is how I select my first 5 records. As you know, our table name is numbers. So also I'm going to say if records exist mysql num rows, which actually returns success if the query returns any result, I mean the records. So I'm going to say if records exist, proceed with this. So what I have to do is just I have to list all those things. So I'm going to say while dollar record equal to mysql underscore fetch underscore array dollar records. So obviously I have to say echo dollar record of, what I have to show is the second field in our database, which is number underscore value. So I'm going to specify it here, number underscore value. Let's see this output on screen. I'm going to refresh my folder. Yes, I got 1 2 3 4 5 records, but this doesn't look good. It has to be a list. So let me get back to my code and let me push it into a list item. So I'm going to say, hey, if record exists, just create a list, let it be an unordered list. And for this I'm going to give a DOM name, which is id equal to recs, records, short form of records. So I have created the unordered list. Obviously I have to end it, so I'm just going to end it at the end of the loop, backslash unordered list. So whatever the record comes, push it in as a list item. This is what I'm telling here. So obviously I have saved it. Let us see the output here. Yes, we got this. So as a first step, we have listed all these 5 elements. Now it's time to show one more link saying get more or next, whatever. And when user hit on that, we should show the next 5. So how to do that? So first we have to show the link to the user. So I'm going to add one more li element, I mean list element, which actually holds the link li backslash li. I'm going to use the word well, get more. So I have to give some class or something by which we can select this through our jQuery to manipulate in the future. So I am going to give a class called get more. Also, on this pagination, when we say get the next 5 elements, we have to mention which is the last value, so that the query can take the next 5 element from the last value. So to track that, I'm going to do here, I'm going to set the ID of this particular list element to the last record value. So last record value comes actually in this loop. So I'm going to say add one more line to this particular while loop saying dollar last ID equal to dollar record of my auto increment field number underscore ID. Yes, so now you can put in this last ID. Yes, so obviously what we are going to do is when someone click on this get more li, we are going to use AJAX to connect with server to get the next 5 records. So obviously the cursor should show the pointer symbol on this particular location. So I'm going to add a style over here saying show the cursor symbol for the get more link. So I'm adding it here. Inside style tag I'm saying dot get more. For get more class, make the cursor pointer. Yes, so I saved it. Let me see in the front end it. Yes, I got this. So now the actual functionality which is going to get done on JavaScript and AJAX. So AJAX, I'm going to use jQuery AJAX because with jQuery we can easily manipulate DOM elements, which are actually Facebook also using. So as a first step, we have to include the jQuery file into this. So I'm not going to download it. I'm going to use the CDN hosted on Google server, which actually you can find it at developers.google.com. You can Google it saying jQuery Google CDN, you'll get this link. So you can find a snippet over here saying script SOC and the path to the jQuery min file. So I'm going to copy this line and I'm going to have it on my head section. This line gets jQuery into my program. So now I'm going to say, hey, on click of get more link, get the records, next 5 records. So how to do that? I'm going to write one more JavaScript here. I'm going to use jQuery for all these actions. So I'm going to say execute some function on click of this get more. So as a standard practice, it's better to execute such things after the page loads. So in jQuery, to do that, we have to push the code inside document.ready function. So let me write the document.ready function. So I'm saying document ready function. I'm going to say when my document is ready, do this progress. So the progress is when someone click on get more class, which means the get more li, that li only we have given a class get more. So I'm telling, if someone click on that get more link, do this operation, which I'm going to tell as a function over here. Obviously this will work first time, but in the second time when we click on get more, this action will not work, because by default jQuery works on DOM element which already present, which will not work on the elements which was dynamically getting generated. To avoid this issue, I'm going to use here live method, which actually works on all the elements. So I'm going to say on click event, do this action, what we have to do. Now the code we are going to write here is AJAX, which actually gonna to connect with another PHP file where the next 5 records will be given. I'm going to say $.ajax function. Here I'm going to write my requirements inside this function, so I'm going to keep it inside braces. I'm going to tell type of communication will be get method, and then URL I'm going to talk with is let me give a new name for the file here, get more.php, and then data, if anything I have to pass, yes, I have to say this is the last element exists in the pagination, so get me the next 5 records. So I have to pass the last element over here, so I have to say last element equal to, alright, so where does this element exist? It exists as a ID in our li, so we can obviously grab it using our jQuery here. So I'm going to say here where last element equal to, I'm going to say this dot attr id. The reason is why I have used this is, obviously this function will work when the get more class was getting clicked, so this will refer to that particular li on this moment. So I can say on that moment what will be the attribute called id, that will be obviously the last id of this pagination result. So obviously we will get that in this JavaScript, and now I'm going to pass it to my AJAX call. So also I have to say on success what has to happen. So let it be a function which receives the data coming over there, and then let it push the data into the existing result. So dollar of hash recs is my order list, an order list. I'm going to say append this data to my unordered list. That's enough for time being. Yes, so now it's our time to create getMore.php, which actually gives the next 5 records. So I'm creating a new file. I'm going to save it as file savers getMore.php. Yes, I have created a file called getMore.php, which was mentioned in our AJAX call. So now the process in getMore.php is get the last element value and show the next 5 elements. That's it. So I'm going to receive here last element. I'm telling get the last element value which was passed by that AJAX call, and then obviously we need to include our configuration file. config.php, which actually does the database operation. So now it's time to query the records. Also, we should make sure the last element is not null, so that the query will not result any error. So if the last element is not equal to null, then process the whole function, which is actually querying the records. MySQL underscore query select star from numbers where number underscore id greater than dollar last element limit 5. So I have written here select 5 elements after the last element from the table numbers. So now I have to say if record exists, so MySQL underscore num underscore rows if dollar records, if records exist, process it, while record equal to MySQL underscore fetch underscore array of records echo each as a list item, li backslash li dollar of record number underscore value as the same result in the last. Add a li element which actually holds class equal to get more, and then id equal to last element value with the name get more. So to grab the last value, as usual, dollar last value equal to dollar record of number underscore id, and here we have to use that variable dollar last value. Yes, also we have to say in this moment, if there is no record comes in that query, send a li saying there was no more record available. So li class equal to, instead of get more, let's use no more, because get more class actually holds the JavaScript trigger which will call this page again on click. So let us use the class no more with the value no more records found. Yes, that's good enough. Let us get into the browser and let me refresh the page. Yes, seems like working. Let me click on get more link. Yes, it gives me the next 5 records 6 7 8 9 10, but if you see the get more link still present over there. So but if you see in the Facebook, you can see a loading message, and then the message will disappear and the result will get appended. So let us do in the same way. We can do that in our index.php file itself, saying hey, before send execute on function which is actually show some message saying progress is going to happen. So where we have to show that in that get more location itself we can show that. So dollar dot get more dot html just show loading, and once when the data comes just remove the element dot get more dot remove. So obviously when we hit on that, when the AJAX is going to happen, the loading message obviously it will show in the screen, and then at the end of the successful execution of that AJAX function, the getMore will removed from the visual, and then the records will get appended with the next 5 records. Let us see that on action. Let me refresh this page again, and let me click on get more. Yes, this is what our decide action. You can see up to 20 it comes. When I click next, it shows no more records found, and it's not a clickable thing. So that is the actual functionality. Hereafter whatever we do is design. I'm not going to do much design over there. I'm just going to do a simple design to just look it like somewhat like Facebook, not exactly. So I'm going to say my unordered list is going to be my list style is none, so that the dot in front of the elements will not come. Also all my li elements I just want some padding, say for example 5 pixel, and I just want some margin which will give some gap between my elements. And then on my li hover, I would like to change the background color, so I'm just going to use something like ef which will give me some kind of gray. And then my get more class, as well as my no more class, I want to keep it as text align center. Also I would like to say font weight could be bold, it would be better, and my background let it be same ef. Well, let me refresh my screen. Yes, now you can actually see 1 2 3 4, and the get more comes to the center of the screen because of the text align center. Now on mouse over, it shows some background which looks quite good. When I hit on get more, it shows loading message, and it loads the next 6 7 8 9 10, and keep goes same up to 20. And when it goes 20, when I hit on no get more, that's it, no more records form. And that's it, the thing. Apply your good CSS skills, and get the application very rich and interactive. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Thanks.